Offload. All right, let's get into it. Welcome to The Hook. And today we're recapping week 3 of the MLR preseason. First up, what do we got? The title. NOLA Gold runs down the Capital Selects. They end up winning 68-15 at the Gretna pitch, which is home of New Orleans Rugby Football Club. The pitch for NOLA Gold will be complete before the 17th when they host Austin Elite Rugby in a preseason fixture. Just to let everybody know. So, looking at the match, what do you want to see? You want to see an overall dominance in the scrum. I had some questions, talked with, the GM, Ryan Fitzgerald this morning, talked to the coach yesterday in Nate Osborne, and this is what I came away with. Upfront criticism is they sort of lost their legs at the end, which, it's going to happen over time, and it was the first time out, so I really didn't know what to expect because I'd done the film study. It's when you do film study, it's really in a vacuum, right? So I really thought that Capital was going to get their butt kicked, which they did. I didn't think they'd get it kicked in this way because, I know how Nate Osborne coaches, and I know he would look to make a statement anyways. However, it's a brand new team. They've only been together in composite form for about, 2 weeks. So you really don't know what's going to happen there, right? They went out and they showed out. They crushed the opposition who had just beaten the Rugby Americas North champions, the USA South Panthers, who competed for the USA in the RAN championships this last summer. In 15s. And they, when we have an amateur rep side sort of like winning the the tournament for North America, it makes me wonder what's going on with Tier 3 rugby, because some of the Tier 3 teams like Brazil and South America is like really pushing hard to make it to Tier 2. And they're actually decent because they've beaten the Eagles. So let's go into the team. Some questions were asked about Nikola Bursic. Why is he starting at lock and maybe not at loose forward? Well, they've got a stock and a stable full of loose forwards, The back three on their scrum is like probably the best in the league at this juncture. And then you also had John Sullivan, who was brought in and who had played 8 center and 7. So I really didn't know where to go from there when that selection was made. To Bursic, you're going to say, hey, he's 6'2", shouldn't he be playing 6? That's a fair criticism, but the national team of Chile has him start at lock. So I think having him start at lock is fine. It's not a big deal. You're good to go. Talking to Ryan Fitzgerald, talking to Nate Osborne, they really liked what they saw during camp with John Sullivan. And although I hadn't read anything about him playing lock at all, when he was out with Stars 15 Select last year for the 2016 season when they played against the Capital Selects, guess where he was playing? He was playing lock. They don't wear traditional numbers with the Stars 15. So that's where, I was kind of like, what? Because I watched the film and I couldn't recognize what position he was playing because he was wearing a 3-digit number. So I actually thought he was playing center for them because they didn't have a roster in front of me, right? So those are going over those criticisms. I mean, it is what it is. But they like what they've seen from Sullivan at lock. He's apparently strong as an ox. He's got as good a push as any of the other locks they have in, so they put him in. And he performed well. He scored the first try in NOLA Gold history in a preseason match. He had 2 tries. and he performed pretty well. Not a big deal. Overall in the scrum, almost every scrum until, I want to say, like the last 10 minutes when, Capital was able to hold their own, get the ball out, and score a try. NOLA took advantage and just punished them pretty much the whole game. It being what it is. You look at the line out. I don't think they lost a single line out. They took every single line out from the Capital Selects. To be honest, for me, it was sloppy enough to where I just stopped tracking. But talking to Nate Osborne and talking to Ryan Fitzgerald, they wanted to win. They wanted to cry. They said, what is it? Yeah, if we won by 13-9, we'd be having a different discussion today, And, they got what they wanted. They got the film. Some guys are going to be, moving forward and down to the club team to hold on and just so train with the training squad for the NOLA Gold, but they'll be playing almost exclusively with New Orleans Rugby Football Club. And so, that's training camp. You gotta get those looks in, And they have some more guys coming in. They've got 2 front rows coming in that I can't really talk about. I'll be able to talk about one, I think, in a week when he arrives. And then the other guy, I'm not. I don't know. I don't even have clues. I just know he's coming because I was told. And then, in the back line, there was really domination. I would say the one thing I'll give to Capital is that they were able to not really cause confusion, but cause disruption. I couldn't really see the shape that Nate was trying to run. Nate's going to be, running a lot of the 1-3-3-1. And he's, been known for running multiple. I saw the 1-3-3-1 going down. And so, I wouldn't be surprised if you see more attack systems being in place. It's going to be pretty hard to scout NOLA Gold based on his intent to run multiple attack systems. And, I want to say pretty much all the tries that Capital scored were sort of like garbage. They were just lapses in the attention to detail from Gold. But it's a team full of Division I players. So, of course, like Nate and Ryan both told me that that Capital Selects team was strong. Like they came out hard hitting, and they gave them a good test. Score was not indicative of the effort and the physical pain that they dealt out. So, I was very happy to see that. Then it was also broadcast on the Gift Time Rugby Network. Over 10,000 views on that game film, which is amazing. Like, wow. At one point, I was watching it at home, and at one point there was 400 people watching it. Wow, that's a ton, man, right? So really good reception outside of New Orleans, and I spoke with when their stadium is ready. Like I said, it should be ready for their match on the 17th of March against Austin Elite. They're gonna pick up steam with their marketing campaign. So they're doing a phased, ad buy right now, and it's starting to churn. So if you're wondering, hey, why aren't you all like Houston? Well, they had this match. They have They have a couple more weeks in between, so they're starting to build up. Yeah, it's going to be great. I think in New Orleans they had about 400 people at this match that they just did spread by word of mouth. So if they do full on, ad stuff like Houston, you're gonna have 3,000 people out there, I think. And then moving forward onto the Houston Sabercats versus Uruguay Teros. Wow. You've really seen the Sabercats mature over the last 2 months. And last week was a heartbreaker against, UBC Old Boys. They lost 23-26. And, in this match, unfortunately, I didn't get to see it, so I had to listen to it, which is great because Grant Cole does a great job for the radio broadcast that he does off his Mixlr channel. And so I think it's mixlr.com/Grant A. Cole. Check it out. And you'll be able to read everything about that. Oh, listen to it, I guess. So one thing, the big feature for this is like the scrum, the things that they made changed positively compared to where they were at UBC Old Boys. They were able to take an Uruguay team and pretty much neutralize their dominance in the scrum, and in fact, the Sabercats sort of enforced their will on Los Teros in the scrum. They got real low, and they pushed real hard, resorting to a lot of dark art stuff that that they actually couldn't get away with because they didn't have the extra strength and power to couple that with, and earned a bunch of penalties with that. Sabercats, and then you have this back line that is fast with Joshua Vici, Osea Kalinasau, Connor Mills, and Zach Pangilinan, Malachi Esdale, Sam Windsor, Connor Murphy. Very skilled, very technical. And what we really saw the difference in the match there was just the experience that Uruguay has. And, they spend, because the way their club system is set up, when a guy makes it to the national team, they pretty much move to Montevideo. So almost all of the team plays in different clubs in Montevideo. And then they get to train together for something like 150 days a year, and then the other, parts of the year, Uruguay is, all those dudes are playing against each other in the club system. For Sabercats, can't call it a win because it's a loss, but it almost is a win. I put the spread at 20, and a lot more people had the spread higher than that. I just figured, that both teams were going to score a lot, And my best hope was that Sabercats would finish within 15, but they didn't. They finished within 8. That's a win. I mean, when you look at that film and you go, we took number 18th ranked country in the world to, within 8 points, and we almost had them. We just needed to cut down on our mental mistakes, and we would have had them. That says a lot right there, right? So, just move forward. Lot to learn from that match, and can't wait for Sabercats to play James Bay this weekend. It's going to be a really awesome matchup with another BC Premier League side, and, Fitzy's going to preach going forward. So I think we're going to see the Cats get back to their winning ways, and I think, the other part of the win is this week there were 3,251 people that bought tickets and showed for the match. So we're averaging right now for the Sabercats over 3,000 fans in attendance. It's Aaron for The Hook, and see you next week.